So I've got company, and I want to talk to the company about the challenge. So I'm going to tell them about the challenge and tell you at the same time. So the Wild with Wool challenge I think we should do it for November and December, right? We should do it.
Yeah.
Till I don't know, till December 15th or something like that. You got all that time from now till December 15th, so just over a month to create something. And I'm saying let's go 6x6. If you want to go bigger, that's okay, but we'll say 6x6, and we want you to interpret wild. We want you to interpret wild using wool and silk, because we are wild with wool. So you can use silk or other fine materials, like if you have a yarn that has a bit of acrylic in it or something, or not. But we don't want you to just go wild with material. We want you to interpret wild. So today here with me are two members of Wild with Wool, and they're up visiting from Halifax. And hi, Roberta. Hi, Deborah.
Hi.
Hi.
So when I say I'll give you a challenge of a 6x6 wild, what comes to mind?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me is all the wild haircuts when we were really locked down.
Yeah.
We're not in Nova Scotia locked down as much anymore, but the haircuts were wild. You could have a bunch of faces with those wild haircuts, or just one person or yourself. It could be a self-portrait.
Yeah.
Or someone running down a Nova Scotia beach naked with their hair flying behind.
What about you, Deborah? What comes to mind when I say wild?
When I think wild, I think of something probably that most people wouldn't normally do, so it would be considered something really wild to me, like maybe riding a motorcycle or even just something daring, and that what I would consider to be really wild for me to do.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Those are both really good. See, those are two interpretations I never even thought about. Skydiving, yeah. I never thought about that as either one of those as an interpretation.
Yeah.
I was thinking wild. I was thinking like wild with color. I was thinking wild with movement or design. I was also thinking about Rousseau and those paintings that he makes that were really like jungle kind of thing.
Yes.
So like we're three people with three different interpretations.
And wild animals.
Wild animals. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Wild animals, that's another one.
You know, you could have a wild animal like a lion or a leopard, and a person somewhere in that picture.
Yeah.
Wild, and tame, or
Possibly.
or you could have just part of a person in there.
Or a wild animal in wild colors, like a lion with a mane, but it would have sari silk and different things in the mane instead of a normal lion.
I'm wondering now, like we're not limiting it to 6x6 because we don't want to put boundaries on you already, but we're thinking that's kind of the minimum size, but do we even need a minimum? Do we need
what about the wild horses of Sable Island?
Sable Island. Yeah, the wild ponies of Newfoundland. Like, there's just so many.
Or even just like when you mentioned Newfoundland,
the
wild ocean against the rocks. And I mean, to me, my mother was from Newfoundland, and that's the way she always described her home, was like she never learned to swim because the ocean was so wild.
Right.
And there's so many. The wind can be wild. I mean, nature. We never even talked about that. So that's our challenge. Any size you want. It doesn't matter. We're thinking that it'll go between now and December 15th. And we need a prize.
Something wild.
Something wild. What would that prize be?
I think
what
it would
be a good wild prize?
Textures.
It would be a wild box.
Yeah.
A box of wild wools.
Yeah.
With lots of different colors and textures.
Okay.
Because I think if you're going to do something wild, you almost need to bring in those
I like that
elements.
idea. Okay, so I'll do up a box of like wild with wool box. And now I'm also thinking, we thought about how do we pick? So I'm never going to pick the best or the worst. That's just not going to happen, because I feel like there's good in every work almost. Every once in a while I see a rug I hate, and often it's mine. So we all have rugs that we don't love. So Angela said the other day, and we were talking, and we talked about if you post it and you say, this is the Wild with Wool, this is the Wild Challenge, what about if we tried to go with the one with the most comments?
Yes.
So then it's it's kind of a voting
That's a good
thing,
idea.
right? So if you get the most comments on your rug, I don't know how we can even count that, but you're going to have to trust us, and we'll have to just do our best. And if someone misses out on it, then I'll send you an extra skein or something. If someone, I'll even it up. But we're just going to do our best. So the rug with the most comments, I think that's good.
Better than a wild guess.
It's better than a wild guess.
Like even the comment is, what is this?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter what the comments are. If the
Yeah.
comment is a heart or whatever,
Yeah,
just like it'll tell us how many comments are on the post. So it can be like 6 by 6. It doesn't have to be anything big. That's why we said 6 by 6. But it can be 60 by 60 if you want. It's about wildness in your. We all need a bit of
I
a
think
wild
that's
heart.
great. I love that.
You love that?
Yeah, I
You
love
gonna
that.
do it?
Too.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm
That
gonna do
sounds
it too.
Great.
I won't enter the challenge because I have lots of wool.
Do you?
I have a little
have
bit. I have a little
access to
extra
a lot of
wool.
You have access.
So I think wild at heart, wild in love, wild in wool,
yeah, wildly in love.
wildly in love, wildly creative, wildly energetic, wildly beautiful.
Wily coyote.
Wildly
He's
coyote.
wily, right?
Yeah, he's wily, but they are wild,
Yeah.
you know? So wild is the challenge because we are a group that's wanting to be wild with wool.
Yeah.
Okay? Anything else?
No, I think it's a great idea. This is-
Wild away your time.
Wild away your time. Wild away your time in November.
Wildly
Yeah.
dangerous.
Wild November. Well, November is a bit
It
wild.
can
Yes.
be too.
It can be pretty wild
Was
around
last
here.
week.
Okay, we've rambled enough now. We're happy. Now we're sitting down. We
Who
might as
could
well have a
abandon?
visit. Okay, so that's the challenge. Everybody got it? These are the parameters. It needs to be something wild. Your interpretation of wild. You could decide the size. It's until November 15th. You post it on Wild with Wool. Say it's part of the Wild Challenge. And or should we? Yeah, the Wild Challenge. And the person with the most comments on their work. So it's kind of like you're voting, right? You're voting when you comment. If you love something and you see it or you think it's great, or even if you just think it's really interesting, it doesn't matter. Comment on that person's and you're voting. You're giving that person a little vote. Does that make sense? We're done.
December 15th.
Should we go till December 15th? Is that too long?
No, not for me.
Not for you? Okay, there we go. That's good advice from Deborah. Till December 15th. See ya.